There are moments in life when something stirs deep within you, not because of words spoken but because of something felt. Right now, you're being gently nudged by your guardian angels, encouraged to notice the subtle but profound energy growing between you and someone who, perhaps unknowingly, is already responding to your soul's presence. There's a pull between the two of you, quiet but undeniable. They might not fully understand what's happening or why, but your presence evokes a kind of curiosity in them, an awakening. It's in the way your eyes meet theirs. Something about that look unsettles them, not in a painful way, but in a beautifully haunting one. It makes them feel as though you're seeing beyond the surface, into places within them they haven't yet explored themselves. You reflect back to them something they haven't had the courage to confront, and yet your gaze doesn't threaten, it welcomes. It doesn't expose them in shame, but instead offers a sense of possibility. The idea that maybe, just maybe, they don't have to keep hiding. When you look at them, something inside them shifts. They might not even notice it at first. Just a breath caught in their chest, a moment of stillness or a sudden warmth. But these sensations linger. You make them feel both vulnerable and safe, exposed and protected. It's a rare balance, and the fact that you offer this so effortlessly is something your angels want you to recognize. 'Cause it is not common. Most people never experience this kind of connection, let alone offer it. But you do. You see someone, not just look at them. And that changes everything. You may not even realize the quiet strength you carry. The way you're able to hold space for someone's hidden emotions without pressing, without needing anything in return. That's your gift. The ability to make another person feel deeply seen without needing to ask them to speak. You allow them the space to just be. And in that space, transformation begins. Ask yourself this. Have you ever been on the receiving end of such a gaze? One that made you feel gently unraveled, as though someone was peering into your heart and still choosing to stay? That kind of moment, when it happens, is unforgettable. That's exactly what you are offering this person, whether you realize it or not. Without even trying, you've opened a door inside them. And even though they may try to go about their day like nothing happened, they keep coming back to it, to you. To the way your eyes lingered, how your presence lingered. And though they might not fully understand what it means yet, they know it means something. They wonder why that simple glance made them feel like they were standing in front of a mirror, but instead of their flaws being magnified, they saw potential, compassion, and the parts of themselves they wish they could become. It's in your calm presence that they sense an invitation to grow, to soften, to embrace the version of themselves they've hidden away. The version you already seem to believe in. They've tried to shake the feeling, to brush it off as coincidence or imagination. But they can't. It's not just in their head. It's in their heart. The look you gave them, intentional or not, unlocked something they've kept buried. And now they're wondering, how do you see that in me? How do you know? Maybe they've never allowed anyone to look that closely before. Maybe they've spent a lifetime avoiding deep connection, shielding themselves from being too vulnerable. But you didn't demand anything. You just were. And your simple willingness to see them fully, even in silence, was enough to start something inside them. We often overlook how powerful presence can be. In a world so obsessed with being loud, with constant expression, you chose quiet understanding. And that's precisely why it had such impact. You didn't try to fix them, change them, or explain them. You simply looked at them in a way that suggested, I see you, all of you, and it's okay. They may not yet be ready to admit it, to you or even to themselves, but that moment planted a seed. Small but growing. It's a whisper inside them that's getting louder with time. You didn't just make an impression. You've sparked a transformation. Think about how rare that is. To meet someone's eyes and communicate so much without a single word. to stand in silence with someone and feel a story unfolding between you. That's what's happening here. You're telling each other something neither of you fully understands yet, but both of you feel. And that feeling is more real than anything that could be spoken aloud. Your angels want you to know that this gift, this sacred ability to recognize the truth in someone's soul, is part of who you are. It's not something you learned. It's something you've always carried. A quiet compassion that doesn't seek attention, but offers refuge. That's why they can't forget you. That's why they keep coming back to that moment in their mind. You have walked your own difficult path, haven't you? You know what it's like to feel unseen, unheard, misunderstood. And perhaps that's what allows you to recognize others so deeply. Because you've yearned for that same recognition yourself. Now you're offering what you once craved, and that too is healing. This person may not be ready to speak it aloud yet. They may not have the words, but their soul is reaching for you. Their spirit is following the thread of connection that has formed in those quiet seconds. And eventually, when they are ready, they'll come to you with questions, with vulnerability, with the truth they've been uncovering inside themselves ever since that first glance. You've offered them something extraordinary. Not a promise, not a demand, but a mirror. A mirror that reflects not just who they are, but who they could be, who they want to become. And one day, when they look back, they'll realize that it wasn't just a look or a moment in passing. It was a shift, beginning, a sacred invitation to come home to themselves. And in that moment, you'll understand that your kindness, your patience, your presence made it all possible. You'll see that even when nothing was said, everything was communicated. Because connection like that doesn't rely on words. It lives in the spaces between them. So whether this bond becomes romantic love, a deep friendship, or a momentary soul encounter meant to ignite growth, trust in its purpose. Know that even in the quiet, your spirit is doing beautiful work. There's something stirring quietly in the spaces between you and another person. A feeling that defies explanation but refuses to be ignored. Your guardian angels are guiding your attention toward this connection, not with urgency, but with a kind of sacred gentleness. They want you to recognize what's unfolding beneath the surface, something deeply human and quietly divine. You've probably noticed it already. The way their energy shifts when you enter a room. How their eyes linger a little longer than they should. And how the silence between you feels fuller than most conversations. They don't understand it yet, but they feel it. The way you look at them, like you see something in them they haven't yet dared to see in themselves. It leaves them breathless in the most beautiful way. Haunted not by fear, but by a longing they can't quite name. There's a stillness in your presence that feels like a mirror. Not the kind that exposes flaws, but one that reflects potential, possibility, the version of themselves they're scared to reach for, but hope might exist. When you meet their eyes, they don't feel like they're being judged. They feel like they're being understood. Not for who they pretend to be, not for the image they've built, but for the person they could become if they finally let their guard fall. That kind of seeing, it's rare. Most people are too busy trying to be noticed to truly notice others. But your strength is in your quiet awareness. In the way you hold space for what's unspoken. Your presence tells them that even the parts of them that are messy, unfinished, or uncertain are worthy of being held with compassion. You don't just observe. You recognize. And recognition, in its truest form, is disarming. When someone feels deeply seen, they can't help but begin to unravel. Not in a way that leaves them broken, but in a way that allows the walls to gently fall away. That's what's happening now. You're not just passing through their life. You've shifted something, planted a seed, lit a candle in a corner they had forgotten was dark. Maybe they don't know what to do with that yet. Maybe they're still trying to name the feeling. But they keep coming back to it, don't they? Replaying that look, that moment, wondering what it meant. Wondering why your eyes made them feel so known, so safe, and yet so vulnerable all at once. These moments may last only seconds, but their echoes linger. What you've offered them is more than a glance. It's shelter. Your gaze holds warmth like sunlight after a long winter. It wraps around the places they usually hide, not to expose, but to reassure. And in that warmth, they feel the stirrings of something unfamiliar. A desire to open up, to be soft, to move toward the person you already seem to believe they are capable of becoming. They might not admit it, but they think about it. About you. About what that look meant. About the way it made them feel, like they were standing on the edge of something holy. Like they were being invited into a version of life they hadn't believed was possible. You've touched something sacred within them, and it's beginning to bloom, even if slowly. And here's something else your angels want you to know. The ability to see someone with such clarity, and to do so without asking anything in return, is not ordinary. It's not common. It's not something most people can offer. But you do. Because you've walked through your own fire. You've longed for this kind of recognition yourself. And that longing turned into understanding. That understanding became a gift. It's in your softness, in your patience, in the way you allow people to be who they are, while gently calling them into who they could become. You may think you're simply being kind, simply being present. But to someone who's spent years hiding, that kind of presence feels revolutionary. They may not have the words yet. They may not even know how to ask the questions their soul is trying to form. But they're looking now, searching, for meaning, for answers, for you, for the version of themselves they sense when you're near. Your spirit does more than comfort. It inspires. And you may not realize how much they needed that. How much they longed for someone to see past their defenses without trying to tear them down. Someone who could simply stay. That's what you're doing. And it's changing them. Think for a moment. How often do people truly hold each other's gaze? How often do they allow silence to speak? Most are too afraid of what might rise in that stillness. But not you. You're not afraid to look. And in doing so, you give them permission to be seen. These small exchanges, the glances, the pauses, the unspoken understanding, they are the beginning of something healing. You're not just connecting with someone. You're giving them the experience of being accepted exactly as they are, while gently lighting a path toward who they're meant to be. Your angels want to remind you that your presence is not accidental. That your heart knows more than your mind can always explain. Trust that. Trust the feeling, even if it's silent, even if nothing is said out loud. Because there is something undeniably real taking root between you. And when the moment comes, because it will come, this person will step forward. They will open up. They will ask the questions they've been afraid to voice. And you'll realize that your grace, your patience, and your unwavering energy gave them the courage to do so. What you're nurturing now with your stillness will bloom in time. You've planted something beautiful in their heart, and though you may not see the full growth yet,